What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Creating Wealth Podcast, where I, Kyle, from Curtin Real Estate, interview local top dogs in the real estate investing, wealth building, and personal finance industries. Let's build together. Today, I'm interviewing Sabrina Sanchez. She's an incredible investment-focused realtor and soon-to-be investor with Candor Realty out of Lowell, Mass. There's tons of value in this episode, and I hope you enjoy. Let's jump into the episode. Hey, Sabrina, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Kyle?
I am just swell. Very swell. So today we got 10 interview questions here that I found that I'm starting to ask people, and I wanted to ask you some of them and, hear your story and, see what kind of background you came from and, what you're doing and that kind of thing. So the first question, what got you into like being an agent or, investing, like that kind of ballpark, and like, what's your backstory?
When I was younger, I always wanted more. I didn't come from like a rich family or anything like that. Grew up with a single mom, and my dad actually passed away when we were younger. So for me, it was kind of as far as like investing, it was more of a internal motivation to do better and just to progress in life. And so I ended up getting a degree. I actually got my bachelor's in science and an MBA, so that I can secure myself in industry that would kind of help propel me as far as like saving cash. And once I did that, I said, now I'm ready to invest into something. And that one thing was real estate. And so in 2018, I decided to, go out there, find out what a pre-approval was, see if I could get pre-approved. And I did. And I worked with some agents. But I soon found out that I was looking for something that the agents weren't really giving me. And I felt like I was missing something. And it got to the point where I didn't trust the agents that I was working with, which I think, being on the other side, I think it happens. I see clients that, don't trust their agents, and it happens. And so because of that, I ended up deciding that I was going to learn as much as I can and become an agent myself. And so in 2019, I actually quit my job and I took all the courses and then passed, which is great. So now I've been an agent since, and it's been great because I've been learning from the other side of the story in a sense, and I've been seeing things from a different perspective. But that is how I started real estate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool to see, like how you always really wanted to get into something like that, ever since you were a kid, and,
Right. And I never knew I felt like I never knew exactly what it was, but I knew that I needed some income. I needed to save some money. And I was like, okay, I need to first figure out that. And then, the world has a lot of options. So then I'll figure out the rest.
One step at a time, right?
Right.
That's great. That's awesome. All right. The next question, what is your drive or your why for everything that you're trying to do?
I think it's a little part of what I said before, as far as like, always wanting more, and coming from a childhood where I was missing a father, and, with my mom, I wanted more out of life. And I just want the freedom to be able to, wake up when I want, be able to do things that other people can't because they work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. And I just also want to enjoy life. I think, having that 9 to 5 takes out so much of your time throughout your life. And, if I could eliminate that 9 to 5 and be able to do other things that make me happy, I think it's worth it.
I totally agree. Life is way too short to not be happy and, kind of like slave over a job that, you might not like, or.
Yeah, I don't want to keep working.
You're right. Only live once, Gotta
Right.
enjoy it. I totally agree. Our next question, are you happy with what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I think I'm happy doing it. One, because I'm learning, and also because I feel like I'm progressing. Um, I don't feel like, I'm doing, or I'm being a real estate agent for no reason. I
Hmm.
think, like I said, I'm learning, and I think that's one of the best things that you can do for yourself to get yourself to the next level. So yes, I'm happy about it.
That's awesome. I feel like that's a big part of like being happy too, is like loving the process,
Hmm.
and like that long journey to get to the end goal. Just like
Right,
loving the way all the way to get there. And
right. And
so the next,
yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just, it reminded me of like this, uh, I don't know if it was a quote that I read or something that I say, but like the goal itself is enough motivation. The fact that, I want the freedom, that freedom itself kind of drives me to get there.
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Definitely. The next question we already kind of talked about quite a bit. It was, what's your vision for the rest of your life? Obviously financial freedom, but is there, any other kind of part to that, or does that kind of sum up everything for the most part?
Yeah, I think it sums it up. I think, besides real estate, I want to be an investor. It's not just, real estate. I just think that real estate is a good option to start with.
Hmm.
But in general, I do want to venture out into, um, you know, possibly commercial stuff or just business in general,
Yeah.
especially having like that MBA background. But I definitely want to become an overall investor in multiple areas.
I totally agree with you. That sounds like a really fun thing. Just keep moving from different venture to venture, and just learning a bunch of new stuff, and going in some different like uh types of investments and stuff like that. It sounds like could be a really good time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Definitely. Um, so we already kind of talked about this one too. Um, Definitely gonna put a little bit more thought into some of these questions the next time. Well, now I know. Um, what investment vehicle is your biggest focus and why?
So yeah, again, real estate is definitely the biggest focus right now. I still feel like I'm learning. I think there's always room to learn in real
Yeah.
estate. But I'm still, I still pay attention to like, the stock market. I pay attention to cryptocurrencies. Um, and I've done, what's it called? Affiliate marketing. I've done a few different investment things, but as
Hmm.
far as right now, my biggest focus is definitely real estate.
Hmm. Would you ever go like really heavy in like the stock market or like affiliate marketing and stuff again, or is that kind of like on the
Yes.
back burner kind of?
I mean, I think that the more money I have, the more I will risk, because at that point, I think I'll be much more okay risking more money.
Hmm.
Whereas right now, I'm saving it or not, but I don't think I'm comfortable risking uh, my savings to an extent. So I
Yeah.
think it'll change in the future.
Yeah, I definitely feel that one. It sucks. Like sometimes there's a ton of stuff that, you see opportunities popping up and like I don't want to like jump into it, because trying to buy a house.
Right.
Don't want to risk it. Ooh, all right. This one isn't repetitive. What is one of the most important lessons that you've learned over your career?
um, I think it's being open to learning from others, letting others teach you, listening, just the whole aspect of learning from people that either have had the experience or learning from people that can guide you in the right direction.
Mhm.
I think that is probably one of the most important lessons is, trying to learn as much as you can. It's like learning actively. It's not just, looking for a book to read and not, talking to people about it. People that
Yeah.
have actually like done it, or just, talking to a mentor, having someone there that can give you those conversations. And
Mhm.
sometimes I know it's hard to find a mentor, but that's where the whole networking thing goes. You just have to keep talking to people.
It
Finding
definitely it definitely hits different when, you find someone that has done everything you want to do and more, and they're willing to have a conversation with you. And I feel like that's definitely something that was very surprising to me as well. Like, I'm still really building the network and stuff, but like one of the first people, like the conversations we had was nuts. Because I don't really have a whole lot of value to give at the
right,
moment, you know what I
right.
mean? Like, but it's definitely something different, to just kind of find like a mentor, or someone who's willing to have those conversations with you, that's accomplished what you have done and or want to do, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, and like the other thing is also kind of like the drive to do more. I think that, when you're doing something new, or when you don't know too much about something, it's scary.
Hmm.
So I think pushing yourself um, to that next level, no matter what your motivation is, will really propel you not only to learn, but just to get you to the next level. You are going to fail.
Yep.
There are times you're going to fail. You're not going to do it right, but you're going to learn. And so I think that that's also an important lesson, not to keep yourself from progressing, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely really interesting. I like to kind of think of it in a way that, like, if you look at it a certain way, like you never really lose, like in a situation. Like I feel like you either win or you learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like monetarily, you'll probably lose, over your
Right.
career or whatever, doing new stuff and whatever. But I mean, as soon as you learn the lesson, then you're not going to make that same mistake again, you
Right.
know? Like,
Right.
um, who would you say plays the most important role on your team and why? I feel like I might know the answer to this one, but
Well, yeah, there's different ways to answer this. If it's
yeah.
like personal team, my mom is definitely like my push, right?
Mhm.
If I tell her that I'm gonna move across the country because it's gonna be worth it, she's
Yeah.
like, do what you gotta do, right? So my mom's a great support. However, as far as like real estate, absolutely my team lead, Jonathan Babachi. I hope I said that last name right. He goes by John. I said his full name, but he's definitely been a great asset. I've learned so much from him, and I think honestly, I don't want to speak so highly of the team, but I think that if I were on another team, I would have not learned as fast as I did.
Yeah.
I was, having one-on-one experience, kind of shadowing him, from the very beginning, and so he has been, probably the most important role on the real estate side of my life.
Hmm.
I can't thank him enough, but I can't. I mean, learning from him is not enough words to describe how much he's done for me. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Definitely a very knowledgeable, awesome person that, he's great.
Yeah, he's, he has his own story where, he started off with his own like multifamily, and he's just grown from that, story. And it's great to know someone that has done what you want to do. And he's very humble, so it's like it's easy to talk to him and all that. So it's great to have him on my team, or me on his
Great.
team, right?
Awesome. Ooh, okay. Let's see. What is something that you thought about either like business, networking, or wealth creation that changed like as you went along, like as you got more experience or more knowledge, like something that you previously thought that kind of changed a little bit?
That this is a great one because I got into like looking at real estate. I saw investment properties a certain way, and they're just not. They're just not the way I thought they were. I mean, I wasn't thinking about numbers. I was just thinking about, having a single family and just putting people in the rooms and then rented by room. I mean, that can happen. It can work. It can work. But I mean, now I think the just the definition of an investment property has definitely changed over time. I know what it is. I mean, before I didn't know what BRRRR was. I didn't know I didn't know house hacking was a thing. I didn't know how to house hack. So I think when it comes to real estate and real estate investing, I know wealth creation through real estate, it's just a knowledge of investment properties in general. Not everybody knows it either. So I mean, it's not something that everybody can do right off the bat, because there's things that you need to learn and just learn through experience too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably it.
Yeah, that's definitely changes things quite a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely tougher. I mean, it's you can't just look at a property and say that it's an investment property. You need to do
Yeah.
more digging, a little more math, and then you can actually make that determination if it's worth it or not.
hmm I used to think that like real estate was so like really big and scary, and there would be like a 20-year down the line kind of thing. And then Biggerpockets came along, and they're like, oh, you could get a house hack for 3.5% down, if the situation fit and everything. And I'm like, wow.
Right. What's
I
FHA?
mean,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, like the versatility and like there's so many different things you can do, with one property alone versus like with the stock market, like, you buy or sell or, use leverage if you're into it. And
Right.
that's pretty much it. You just kind of watch and see where it goes. But like, it's kind of cool, like the amount of control, I guess you could say, like you have a lot more control over like your ROI
Right.
than, you don't have to just kind of wait for it.
Right now. Um, yeah. So I think that's definitely something that has changed over time.
hmm Ooh, okay. What is your best piece of advice to up and coming investors and entrepreneurs?
I keep like repeating the whole learning thing because it's such an important part of, I mean, anything you do, really, anything you want to venture into. Uh,
hmm
so I think up and coming investors, I come across, young or millennial investors that want to invest in real estate, whether it's house hacking, BRRRR, and they're very excited. They want to get it done. They don't want to wait, and which is great. It's great to do that. However, sometimes they lack the knowledge.
hmm
Uh, they and I don't mean knowledge. I guess they lack considering other things in their
Yeah.
properties. They're so excited to get it done that they just get it done versus, hey, let's think about think about this. Let's think about the location. Let's think about the what this is going to look like in a few years. And sometimes they don't have those resources, and we give them those resources. But if you're not working with someone like me that's not going to do that for you, you're going to just buy whatever
A
property.
house. Yeah.
Right.
And hope
And
for
so
the
I think,
best.
yeah, and I think educating yourself as much as you can before buying a property, it's probably the best thing you can do to help eliminate risk.
hmm
Otherwise, you're just you can potentially ask for a problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. The the amount of due diligence is definitely definitely a lot more than, you know, other kinds of investments and stuff. And you're right, it's kind of a big deal. And like, there's a ton of different variables that you really have to consider.
Right.
Pretty big purchase.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, everyone's different. Some people have their own fears, some don't.
Mhm.
But it's just finding out more information before you put that money down that you saved for 5 years or so,
Yeah,
Chunk of money. It's a chunk of money.
definitely. So now, last but not least, number 10. Do you read? And if you do, what is your favorite business, investing, or real estate book that you would recommend to anybody?
Hmm. So
If
I
you had to
do
pick
read.
one.
I have an interesting answer to this, Kyle. I don't know if I'm gonna pick one, but I think you're gonna like my answer.
Okay.
So I do read. I've been slacking because August has been very busy for me. But, however, when it comes to books, what I've found is that it all depends on you. It's
Yeah.
not what I think is the best book, because that's going to be, maybe not the best book for me, but if it depends on the person. So if the person is not in the right mindset, go read Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? But if you're someone that's looking for time management, using your time effectively, then I'm thinking, 4-hour work week.
Hmm.
So I think that it depends. I don't have a favorite book because I think I learned from all of them.
Yeah.
Uh, I think there are books that I probably didn't like, and I can't remember their titles. But I think every single book you can learn something from that's valuable.
Hmm.
Uh, but again, dependent on where the person is as far as real estate, whether that's mindset, whether you're trying to find, ways to make your time effective, whether you're trying to become a better agent,
Yeah.
like what's the Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Great book for anyone that's looking for, becoming a great agent. There's
Hmm.
there's also the same book, same author, I believe, and there's an investor version. Now, for me, the investor version was much more. I liked it much better
Yeah.
because, the agent side is very focused on being the perfect agent, where ultimately I want to be a great agent, but I also want to primarily be a great investor.
Hmm.
And so that's my answer, I
You're
think.
definitely right, though. There isn't really like one book that, is a catch-all,
Right.
for everybody.
Yeah.
There's different aspects of, people's lives that will get hit different by, like, the different books and stuff.
Right.
I definitely like the Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a Bible pretty soon.
Yeah. No, I definitely have the audiobook
Yep.
because it's like, I don't want to lose this one. But I mean, it's great. I mean, it's really great. I mean, there's so many books out there, even on Biggerpockets, that are great. It's just finding out what you need to read about.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know how many books I've read now this year, but I mean, I like it because I'm learning something. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, even if you could just pick up like one or two things from a book that really hit you hard, like,
Right.
that's
Oh,
kind of a win.
that reminds me of the Millionaire Next Door.
Yep.
It's a very, very old book, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people say, it's it's not relevant today, et cetera, et cetera. The book is highly, you know, there's a lot of math in it, and data driven, which is probably, the data is probably old, right? But I also think there's things in that book that are not data driven that are useful, like, things like trying to pick the right lawyer or the right, financial advisor to look for,
Hmm.
things like that. And so I think the book, like I said before, it depends on where you are, but I think that book was probably my least favorite.
Honestly, I don't blame you. I read that one a while back, and I thought it was kind of on my own because I've only heard good things about that book, and I just saw too many numbers. I was like, graph.
Right,
You know,
right.
can't really do this. Wow.
It's like I won a class, right?
That's crazy. I thought I was kind of the only one with that one.
Yeah.
Couldn't really get through it.
No. It was a tough read because of all the data.
The numbers. Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Well, thank you so much, Sabrina. It was nice to kind of hear some more stuff about you and, your story and, give a lot of value to the people. But, where can everybody reach you, if they wanted to follow you? Or definitely check her out, guys. She's a ton of awesome content on her Instagram and stuff. Super knowledgeable.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that plug. So you can definitely find me on Instagram at Realtor Sabrina Sanchez. It's also my emails, Realtor Sabrina Sanchez, because that's a great branding technique. But you can also find me on Facebook as well, with the same name. So
perfect.
If you want to just Google Realtor Sabrina Sanchez, I'm probably the only one. But yeah, you can find me through that.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sabrina. All right, guys. That concludes our Creating Wealth podcast episode for today. I want to thank every single person that has listened this far. It really means a lot to know that people can learn from me and with me as we build wealth together. Hopefully, you can take home at least one thing from this podcast that will improve your life just a little bit. If you could, please check me out on social. That's at Curtin Real Estate on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on Biggerpockets. Until next time, let's build together.